beast stalker, giant stalker, dragon stalker, crypt stalker, demon stalker, rift stalker, grown stalker, crypt stalker, scourge stalker, wind runner. I'm a pony, lead skilled hunter, a death dealer, a life stealer. That's just the cost of being awesome.
And welcome to episode 271 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I'm Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
And I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast and Bendak Wow on Twitter.
All right, today is Monday, June 4th, 2018, and we are broadcasting live on twitch.tv. And you can participate in our live chat room where we'll try and pay attention to what you're saying and answer your questions as we go along. But hey, we're back. Hey, this is we did it. You know, it's been less than a month since we last did a show, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, we might actually get back to our 2-week rotation at some point.
Well, certainly when the pre-patch arrives, there'll be probably a little bit more to talk about. Well, not that we can't talk about stuff that's going on in the beta, but like I said, we were talking a little bit before the show that none of us have really gotten that in. I mean, we're in the beta, but we're not really doing that much in it. None of us have been sort of motivated to get in there and log on and do that for whatever reason.
At least compared to how I've played previous betas, where, you know, I would level up to cap like 3 times and do all this stuff. This time I just kind of want to save something for the actual release.
Yeah, I guess the question is, are we saving too much for the actual release? I don't know, but you know, that'll probably be good. Like I'll probably have I wouldn't be surprised if I had a more positive, I'll say outlook, but probably feel better about this expansion because I haven't spent as much time seeing everything ahead of time, so that when it does go live, it'll probably feel a lot newer. Things will feel fresh, and I'll probably enjoy it more than I would have otherwise if I had spent time playing around in the beta.
Yeah, and in terms of class changes, there's not a lot of reason to level up if that's what you're interested in, because you don't get anything for leveling up. Like you're just losing things basically, because you lose your legendaries, you lose your artifact weapon. It's kind of weird. Like it's the first time where you've getting to max level. There's nothing at the end, you know.
Right, everything you do is sort of thrown away here. And joining us now, by the way, is the one and only Miss Foxy. Hey, Foxy, how are you?
Hey guys, how you doing?
No, we're good. We've just started here, so I take it you've woken up for your wonderful nap.
Yes, it was wonderful, I must say.
Naps are a good thing. Maybe the best of things. I don't know.
Well, the older you get, the more you appreciate naps.
So we were just talking a little about the beta and how little we've been playing. Maybe it's probably a good way to start out the show always, and just sort of talk about what have we been doing in game. Like Foxy, what have you been doing in World of Warcraft since the last time we saw you, the last few weeks?
I have been leveling my Nightborn Hunter. I'm not very active on my main. I do try to kill Argus every week, but other than that, I haven't done much.
Yeah, fair enough. And things have sort of been winding down. And how about you, Bendak? What have you been doing here?
Just like the weekly raid and weekly 15, and trying to clean up a few things, like a few toys I missed here or there. And I thought about going for that field medic title because that's going away, and then after like getting like the first quest done, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this. I will probably never use the title anyway. It's taking forever.
Is it that bad?
Well, yeah, it's like because you need to get these quest items to drop from random mobs all throughout Broken Isles, and they're all like a 1% drop, and you have to get like, I don't know, it was like a dozen of them or something.
Yeah, I know I got some one-off stuff that I never deleted because it said it was when I looked it up on WoW, it said it was a quest item, but I never paid attention to it. It's probably something for that.
Yeah, and if you have one of them picked up, you can't get other drops. So I was like that too. I had one in my bags forever. That's probably, I didn't see any just through
Really?
regular play. Yeah.
Oh, well, great. So I just, screwed myself altogether.
It's probably better if you join a group and of like a 5-man group and just to kill more things. But I don't know. I don't think I'd use the title anyway. But I just like getting stuff that's going to go away for good.
Yeah, I say that more than anything is probably the motivating factor, right? I hate it when they take stuff away like that, which they typically do.
Yeah.
I mean, as for myself, I'm actually starting to get back into it a little bit more. I sort of really took a bit of a hiatus from doing much, so I haven't really even rated much of Antorus, but now I'm gonna get in with another group with some folks here that reached out to me and just kind of at least get that cleared in heroic minimum before the expansion comes out. So I'm getting ready to start doing that probably next week. And then other than that, I mean, getting caught up on the reputation, right? On the Argus reputation to unlock the two, the Nightborn and the other one, the Lightforged Draenei. Those are the two, I guess.
Yep, I think it's the Dark Moon Fair right now, so get some extra rep. Just go take a ride on the carousel and get 10% more.
Yeah, I may have to go do that then, because it is a grind. I mean, I'm getting close. I'm deep into Revered with one of the reps, and then a little bit into the Argus, the Argusian Reach or whatever it's called. That's how little I've been playing that I can't even just name the reps off the top of my head like I should be able to do. But I'm into Revered with both of those, so it shouldn't be too much longer. But I've been mostly focusing on those world quests every day, just banging those out.
Yeah, so speaking of things that are going away, has everyone done their Mage Tower challenges?
No,
Yep,
because I'm
for
a terrible
survival.
person. You did it for survival too?
Jeez.
Oh wow.
No,
Excellent.
I haven't done mine, and I keep forgetting to check, each week whether it's up or down or
Yeah, it's up right now, but yeah, that's I think the appearances of your weapon transmogs, I think that one's the only one that's going away permanently, because they said the Mythic plus 15 one is actually staying.
That's what I had heard too. But you said the Mage Tower is up right now.
It is up right now, so.
All right. Well, on that note, you have been listening to episode 271.
Ah, you guys making me feel so bad that I haven't done it.
Well, I haven't either. I know, and I feel bad about it too. And there's no excuse for it now.
Well, I mean, I guess, should we talk about the big news then, where they hinted at when the pre-patch is dropping, because that's when everything's going away.
Yeah, like is it July? It's a July date, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have a note in here, I guess, that Blizzard announced that they are removing 32-bit support from WoW in 8.0. And then they said they recommend updating to the 64-bit version of the game before July 1st, 2018 to ensure your World of Warcraft game experience is unaffected. So that, I guess, kind of inferring that maybe Tuesday, July 3rd would be the date, or the earliest, I guess it could possibly be. I can't imagine they would throw it out there right before the holiday, but who knows?
I guess I have to go and try and do this then.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about the holiday. So maybe it would be the week after.
Yeah, that would be my guess. That July 10th would probably be a better date for them to throw that out there. Although it hasn't even gone up on the PTR.
Yeah, but any day now, really.
Although it's not going to need a long lead time, I wouldn't think, on the PTR, given that it's kind of out there in beta, and they've got a lot of people in the beta, I believe. So.
Yeah, most of the PTR stuff has already been tested, or at least some of it has been.
So, yeah, I think the Mage Tower Challenge guides are on Wowhead. Are those still accurate? There's no changes, right?
No, they're still accurate.
Yeah.
I did the BM one, and I think Delirium did the Marksmanship one.
Yeah, I believe so. I have no idea.
There was a guy in my guild that did BM1 or Marksman one. I think it was. I can't remember. But he did a very good job on it in the guild I was in before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marksman is the twins. BM is Interrupt Central, and I don't even know what the survival one is. Which one is the survival one?
It's the one where you fight the mage. It's in Malagos's room.
Mm.
I don't even know how to survival. Like, so I would just not get that one anyway.
Well, I mean, honestly, with your gear, it's like you just completely overpower it anyway.
Well,
Mm.
that was my question too,
Even
right?
with
I think
gear and no AP in the weapon.
Well, just go do one world quest and your survival weapon will have enough AP for it.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
yeah, I was
the
trying to think what it was tuned for, right? What gear level?
well, people were doing it around 910ish. Like you could it was doable at 905. 910 was preferred, and people were saying like 920 and it should be fairly easy. Um so we're at what, 940, 950.
Yeah, it's a lot easier now. Just because you go through it so much quicker and there's less chances to make mistakes.
And you probably have the legendaries that you need too. Mainly Pride as.
Yeah.
yeah.
Healing the healing legs for BM too, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I have all the legendaries, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, that's usually that was actually one of the bigger limiters back at like 905, 910. If you didn't have the right legendaries, it was quite a challenge. But now that legendaries are 1,000 and you have the raid trinkets too, it's usually pretty easy. Although I still can't get I got the twins down to like 5%, and then I I failed something and I was just like, you know what, I give up for tonight.
Yeah, and I think after this, like I think it only comes up what, like once a week or even less. Once every like 8 or 9 days. I forget what it was, but there might only be like 4 more chances to get it, you know?
yeah, that's what I was wondering. I mean, it's got to be really down to the wire here at this point.
Yeah, so that and I think Balance of Power, that quest line's going away, so I think you have to have it started. Is that true?
I'm not sure about that one.
Which one is the balance of power?
That's the raid one where you have to do things in normals.
Like the early raids.
Yeah, you have to, I think, kill all the bosses in Emerald Nightmare once through, and then like 2 more bosses on top of that. I think it's the 20. That's the start of it. 20. I forget what the item is, but you get like 1 to 4 per boss.
Yeah, if you were raiding during Nighthold, you probably have it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It sounds like that's something I would have had. I know the one that I don't think I ever quite finished was the. When I finished the raid was that Trial of Valor, or that one where there was some items you needed to collect from somewhere, and I don't think I ever collected all of those. I don't remember what it was for.
That's for armor set.
I think it was an armor set, right?
Yeah, so I think I think at least you need to start started. I'm not sure if the quest line goes away with the new 8.0, but 8.0 is going to just be the big do or die date. Any other recommendations in terms of things to do before the big day?
Well, there's always that ahead of the curve achievement, right? Don't you get an amount for clearing the heroic raid? So if you haven't done that, probably want to do that before that goes away too.
Yeah, and there is some groups that do those runs for free if you don't have the gold to buy one. You just have to kind of sign up and hope your name is drawn, but they get through a lot of people. I think the groups are called Perky Pugs and Friendship Burb, like BIRB. So if you search those, you should find them. I think one's Horde and one's Alliance.
Those are great names.
But beyond that, like that's probably the one good thing. It's always good to get the mounts and things like that. So that'll be next up on my radar. And then aren't we getting some more? I think they announced too, this is not specifically hunter related, although you can never have enough hunters. And I think they also mentioned that we're going to get some more character slots too. I don't know if it's going to be when 8.0 goes live or just when the expansion parts of it release, but I think to account for some of the other races that are coming with 8.0.
I get so frustrated when they start offering more character slots or more this or more that, and still won't give us more pet slots or some type of transmog system like to manage all of the pets and stuff we want to tame.
I know they've been every expansion they say, oh, it's on our radar. We'll get to it. We're trying to think of a good solution. I got a solution. Just add another page of pet slots.
Right. I don't
Yeah.
understand how hard it is. Like,
Make it cost 10,000 gold. I don't care. 100,000 gold. I'll pay it.
Yeah, I'd probably be willing to pay, 100,000 for another page. I mean, even if that's not what they want to do, I mean, that's not their long-term solution. I mean, at some point, you can't let the pursuit of perfection impede progress here. And so, they introduce new pets every expansion, and this one's no exception. We're going to be talking about some of those in just a minute. And so I'm surprised that they haven't done anything to address that. I would have figured it was going to be coming at some point here, but given where we are, doesn't look like it. Doesn't mean they can't do it in another patch or something, after Battle for Azeroth goes live. But I would have thought that would have been part of the hunter changes coming in this expansion. I mean, what did they do? Did we get another? Isn't it the engineering, like another portable stable coming with from the engineering?
Yep, engineers have a portable stable master.
So it's not like the pet stable wasn't on their minds for this expansion.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of neat pets coming too. So once again, we'll have to clean out something. I don't know what though, because almost half of my slots are freaking spirit beasts.
yeah, that's what the whole problem is. And just remember how hard it was to get some of those. So there's no way I'm deleting it to make space for something new.
I mean, there are a lot of spirit beasts. There's a lot of just rare pets in general that you wouldn't want to get rid of, or at least, and even some of them aren't necessarily hard, but they're kind of tedious. Some of the raid
Right.
pets and things that just takes time to go do, and why would you want to redo that?
I'm not sure why they hate us so much, guys. Who messed with the developers when it came to hunters? Like, who made them mad?
Well, why don't we jump down to that, because there's some marksmanship stuff they're talking about. But since we're on the topic of pets, why don't we talk about some of the changes that are coming, so people can kind of understand why it is that we would want more pet slots. It's not just because because we're greedy, although that's part of it. But there's some cool stuff coming that's going to make it very hard to do. So I know, Bendak, you've been looking at this a little bit. Did you write a guide, I think you were saying, for Wowhead or something?
Yeah, I have a post on my site, and then there's an even bigger guide coming to Wowhead soon, TM. Probably sometime around the pre-patch, it'll go live. But yeah, there's a lot of pet stuff this expansion. I don't even know where to start, but I guess the big change, which we have mentioned before, but every pet family has a set specialization now. So,
and it can't be changed, right? So when you get a pet, it's either going to be ferocity, tenacity, or cunning, and that's what it is.
right. But all three do the same damage and have the same health and armor, so they're differentiated by their spec abilities.
Yeah, and I think that's where some of the confusion was, right? Because you think of like a tenacity pet, for example. I mean, it's designed to be, I don't know, hardier, like take a beating. Yet, so it just seems weird. Like, how is that not going to be desirable to have a tenacity pet if it's going to be doing the same damage as pets that would be presumably squishier.
Right. Well, the new passives that each spec get are actually pretty good. Like Ferocity, every Ferocity pet gets Bloodlust, and they also get 10% leech for the pet and you. And BM has a talent that makes it 15%. And this is surprisingly good for soloing and whatnot. Like, it's Ferocity pets are better at soloing than Tenacity pets because they just keep themselves healed.
Wait, so what was that tier 5 armor set? Was that 15% leech essentially?
Yeah, I remember that. It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this brings it back. If I'm not mistaken, 15% is in line with what it used to be with that tier 5 two set, right?
Yeah, well, it's just the pet damage gets leached to itself, and your damage, like from Cobra Shot, is leached to you, basically.
Okay. That's still, I think that's still on par with old tier 5.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, if you pull a bunch of mobs, like, you're beast cleaving them all, and like your pet's just healing up. Like, it doesn't matter. They just keep taking damage, and they just heal themselves up.
That's awesome, especially with leveling.
Yeah. Just misdirect and put everything on your pet.
You know what? That'll be good for like soloing bosses and raids and things like that too, if that would be your preference.
Are you saying it's going to be automatic if there's no focus set? It usually is, isn't it, already? Misdirecting things like that.
Sorry, what was that about misdirect?
It's automatic. Are you speaking that it's going to be automatic in the new expansion, or are you speaking on something else?
No, I was just saying, just when you're leveling, you can use misdirect and just like pull everything in sight,
Yeah.
and your pet will survive.
Which is nice. It kind of was like that at some points in time, and I think it was a little harder to do. Certainly at the beginning of Legion, that was not something you could easily do.
Yeah, and so Ferocity is really good for soloing or if your group needs Bloodlust. And Tenacity is actually probably going to be like the best raiding pet because it just increases not just your pet survivability, but yours too. Because
that'll be awesome for progression.
Yeah, you and your pet get 8% more health. And it gives you an extra cooldown button that reduces damage taken by 20%.
Which is nice. Yeah, and that's on a 3-minute cooldown, that ability. But it's always nice to get a defensive ability, as you say, too, Foxy, especially when you're doing progression and you're dying a lot and you're wiping a lot. This just helps, and the healers aren't quite, used to keeping everyone alive or able to quite do it. Waiting to get some more gear and things. That this is just always a good thing to have when you're raiding.
Well, I'd like to add one more thing to that too is the change to tanking in BFA. I don't know if you guys heard about the threat changes. They're going to be around 4 times. The tanks are going to generate about 4 times more threat than the DPS. It used to be about 20 or 10 or 20% or times here in BFA or in Legion. I'm sorry, and that's a serious change. And the ads and stuff like that, we're gonna have to start misdirecting again. We're gonna have
you're gonna have to put misdirect back on your bar.
It never left, friend. It never left.
Yeah, it's gonna be some
you have
serious
to dust
changes.
it off anyway.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of extra tenacity or extra, damage reduction, health is gonna help a lot when surviving a hit from ads or something like that.
Yeah, and Feign Death is going to get a lot more use too, I think, with the threat change. It won't just be to reduce your repair bills. Anyway, back to the pets. So Cunning, they get Master's Call, which we all know it was just gone for Legion. Unless you're playing PvP with Survival, then there's a talent. But and then they also get Pathfinding, which increases movement speed by 8%. So it's basically PvP pet.
Yeah, as I say, that could be the pet movement could be situationally useful, but probably not something that you need to rely on a whole lot.
Yeah, it's movement for the hunter too. I mean, there's probably some raid encounters too. Like if you don't need the damage reductions and stuff from tenacity, and it's a high movement fight, you probably want that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, that. So there may very well be situations where you want that and could use that. So a couple other changes too. All the specs now have growl and dash plus a basic attack. And then this is a sort of a nice little quality of life change. When you enter a dungeon, growl's auto cast is automatically turned off to avoid pulling aggro for the tank. But
Yay!
you can turn it back on if you want to troll your tanks, I guess. And then, but when you leave the dungeon, it gets flipped back on automatically, which is really nice.
That is the most that outside of pet slots. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really nice change. I mean, I have a weak aura that tells me when growl's on, and I still screw it up sometimes.
Here's a question: do you think that they're going to turn growl back on for raid bosses at all, or do you think that's going to be still permanently gone?
I doubt it. Who knows though?
Mhm.
I mean,
I'm thinking it'll be just a blanket thing where you just have the option of turning it back on when you zone in. It's just gonna be, try to tell if you're in an instance or not.
Well, no, I was thinking because right now, uh, growl doesn't work on raid bosses,
Hmm.
and it's a bit of a problem when we're trying to 4-man Emerald Nightmare. So that's about it, though.
so another change is avoidance, which is a passive that all pets have. That basically what it does, if you don't know, is it just reduces area of effect damage your pet takes, so that your pet can stand in the fire and not die. But they added another little thing to it so that it reduces the aggro range of your pet. So all those moments when you're trying to sneak by some ads in a dungeon and your pet pulls them, this should probably reduce that from happening.
Oh, good. I can remove the wide load sign from the back of my hunter.
Yeah, exactly.
The mythic pluses, man. I have to like dismiss my pet after every pull, otherwise, people get pissed when I.
You want to just bring a very large pet just so it seems more realistic of what's happening. And let's see, each pet will also have at least one special ability. There are 6 major ability categories distributed among the pet family, so each specialization has at least one pet option for each of these abilities. And then all the exotic families will have at least 2 special abilities and passives.
Yeah, so they recently just finally got this worked out, because for a long time there's a lot of pets that had nothing, or there's a lot of exotics that only had one ability, but now it's all kind of evened out, which is nice. So I think the 6 major abilities are, there's like the shell shield, which is like the turtle ability. Then there's another damage reduction ability that gives you a little more damage reduction, but has a longer cooldown. And then there's the one that gives your pet dodge chance, which I guess is just another damage reduction. Then there's the 50% snare. Then there's the mortal wounds. And what did I forget? Oh, I think that's all of them, right?
Is Slowfall is that an only special?
That's an exotic ability.
Okay.
But actually, Feathermanes get it too, even though they're not exotic.
Wait, Feathermanes aren't exotic?
No.
Oh. Is that a new change, or has that always been that way?
It's always been like that.
Oh. Okay. I was just never thought of it. Well, then again, I haven't pulled out a pet on my marksman hunter in forever, so. And I don't play survival, so.
So did you play Marksman in beta, Bendak?
Yeah, a little bit. I
Did
played.
you try with a pet?
Yeah.
How'd that feel versus not?
Well, right now, I mean, the pets for single target, the pet does more damage than lone wolf.
Oh.
It's nice to have the utility too, because if you get rid of the pet, then you don't have like that extra health, that leech or whatever,
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, the passives are gone if you take away the pet. Those either the 8% health for tenacity or the 10% leech.
Oh, and the other pet ability that I forgot was the tranquilize slash purge, which is a really
Oh,
big one actually. That's
yeah,
new.
the offensive magic purge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
So that's basically for a while in beta we had tranquilizing shot, then they took it away, but now some pets can have it.
Do we know how many pets have that, or is it limited to like a specific family? I guess.
Yeah, there's quite a few families that have it. One of them is spirit beasts.
Hey, they're gonna make us, or they're gonna have us take out our spirit beasts. Might be actually good.
Spirit beasts are really good right now. Like they got I doubt this will stay for when it goes live, but right now Spirit Mend is really good. It heals you for like 45% of your health.
Ooh,
Wow.
that'll be really good
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
soloing, for boss
That'd be-
soloing.
Yeah, it's like the initial heal is about 20%, and then the rest is the heal over time. So yeah, there's like bats, cranes, moths, nether rays, spirit beasts, spore bats, stags, and water striders all have tranquilize.
And of course, for all that we're gaining, we are going to lose our battle res ability. So that's going to be gone from all the hunter pets.
Yeah, and some people might say, well, we just lost a bunch of utility there, but honestly, one class having Bloodlust and Battle Res, and now Misdirect is going to play a much more important role too. So I think we're okay for utility.
I think that's fine too. And I always felt like the pet battle res was always a little bit awkward anyway. I mean, I think they kind of improved it enough so that it wasn't really a big issue this time around, but initially it was problematic with pet range at one point in time. So I never liked to have to use it.
Yeah, me neither, because it res to your pet's location. So it's like, why did you res me in the fire? That's where the
Because
pet's
you asked
standing.
me to. That's the answer.
And then in addition to that, Heart of the Phoenix, Last Stand, Roar, Sacrifice, and some of these other passives they've also been removed. Although it's noted here that the Quillen actually still have the Heart of the Phoenix. I wonder if they're going to keep that, or if they'll
it's
because they're exotic, or just going
to. It's their unique exotic ability. Yeah. So that's kind of a neat thing too. If you, I don't know, Quillen are also tenacity, so they're also good raiding pets, and then you have instant res on them.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they've done a pretty good job with the pets for this expansion. It looks like we'll have some. We're not. I don't feel like they're certainly not useless, right? Or or generic, and they're not so specialized that I feel like I'm going to be locked into perhaps a single pet all the time. So just might have some. Might end up choosing pets for a number of reasons depending on the situation.
Yep, you probably have a different pet that you use out in the world. One for raiding, maybe one for dungeons, PvP, etc. And there's multiple choices in all like those categories because the way they distributed the abilities. And there's the new families, which I think we mentioned before, right?
Somewhat. Although I think some of these were kind of
weren't fleshed out.
tentative. Yeah, we're hoping. I guess we're hopeful that they'd become pet families, but they hadn't really been announced. Like the pterodax, for example, which it looks like it's an exotic pet family, a cunning pet. We were hoping for those, but I don't believe this is the first time we've talked about them being an actual pet family at this point.
Yeah, so those are pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, so their ability is Ancient Hide, which is a 60% damage reduction, and Updraft, which is a slow fall.
Yeah, you can tame like the old style pterodaxes from like Ungoro Crater, or like the new ones, from Zandalar and places like that. The new ones, the old ones like hover all the time, and the new ones fight on the ground.
So that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. Not that I have room for them, but nonetheless. You have another one here, the Krolusk, which I guess I'd have to look that up to see what it actually looks like. Not really sure what they are, but they're a tenacity pet, and they have Bulwark, which is a 50% damage reduction, and then Calcified Carapace, which is extra physical damage reduction. But I'm not really sure what they look like. They sound like a bug of some kind. I don't know. Have you guys seen what the pet looks like, or
Yeah, they're like trilobites. Hang on a sec.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull an overlay here. Oh wait, I turned that off. Crap.
Put a link in the chat there so you can see them. Just scroll down a bit.
And while you're doing that, toads will now be tameable, and they're going to be a tenacity pet. And they've got special ability Swarm of Flies, which is a 30% dodge chance. And it looks like you'll be able to get the old ones from MOP, as well as new ones coming in BFA.
Yeah, the toads are neat, like especially the new ones, because like their animation, like they just hop. That's all they do is hop. It looks really funny. They don't have any walking animations or anything. They just hop fast or hop slow.
Is that the same one as, or the same model as the new mount?
Yes.
Awesome.
I haven't tamed one yet, but I've seen in the Wowhead database that there is at least a couple that are marked tameable.
And then there is the Lizard family, which is also tenacity, and their ability is Grievous Bite, which is mortal wounds. And then it says here includes the new Sarlisks and Saber Tusks, which is this Handelari Druid cat form, as well as the Dimetrodons, which I believe those are also from Angora. We've wanted those for a long time. At least I have. I was kind of like those.
And they updated the models on those too. But yeah, it's like, what's with all like this Sandalari Druid cat form? It can tame druids now?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I wonder if that's a mistake.
I don't know. It's
I think they're trolling us because if that's true.
But they also added the Zandalari Druid bear form to another family. The Ankylodons. They're in the Scalehide family.
Oh. Oh wow! I missed this part of our notes here. And bumblebees to the wasp family. Oh man, those bumblebees are awesome.
Yep, and you can tame unicorns too.
Hot damn.
Yeah, are they? What family were they? I was trying to see what they were.
Stags.
Stags. That's right.
Mm-hmm. So that that pet mount and non-combat pet, synergy. That's going to be way in force.
Yeah, I can't wait to have my bee mount and then have bee pets.
with your double bee pet with what's it called? What's that new talent called? Replaces
Animal
Hottie.
companion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that fully fleshed out yet?
Not fully. I mean, it works, but the pet is, let's just say it's missing some features. Like, doesn't kill command yet, doesn't dash yet, doesn't have avoidance, so it kind of like just dies instantly in dungeons and raids.
Oh.
But I'm sure it'll fix it.
I would hope so.
And then we had a couple other notes on pets. Where you had talked about spirit beasts before, Bendak, how they're looking pretty good. But you also have a note here for cleft hoofs and core hounds as possibly being good for soloing as well.
Yeah, because they're both ferocity pets and they both have damage reduction cooldowns. And cleft hoofs, their exotic passive gives them 10% more armor, and they get 20% additional healing taken. And core hounds have their molten hide, which is like a thorns ability, and it actually, like, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's actually noticeable damage now. So if you're doing some AoE pull or something, you know, it might do like 5 to 10% of your damage for it, which is pretty neat.
Well, thorns might also come in handy for aggro, because if aggro is being reduced as much as they say it is, you may have trouble keeping up aggro on your pet. That might be an issue again. I don't know how long.
I don't think BM will have issues with that.
Okay. Well, because I guess kill command does a lot of.
Well, that plus even for AoE,
Mhm.
we talked about last time, the auto attack damage has gone up for everyone.
Oh.
So that gets beast cleaved, right? And plus their basic attack damage is also up. So BM pets do not have trouble holding aggro from the hunter.
Well, that's good.
But for the other specs, yeah, definitely you're gonna have to misdirect a lot. Or just for growl for single target's fine too.
And then the last pet of note here are the Silithids, which I guess have 30% more movement speed than any other pet, plus cunning spec for even more speed. And then you were mentioning how the movement speed is important for fights with a lot of movement and target swapping. And they have a snare ability for PvP, so maybe you'll see a lot of Silithids in PvP for the hunters.
Yeah, and they're exotic too, just to note. But that's yeah. But yeah, they're fast because with the cunning and their other 30%, like if you take that BM talent aspect of the beast, they're like get 42% more movement speed in total.
Plus, everyone gets, or all the pets get dash too, right? So
Yeah,
just this Silithid coming right up on you.
Well, those are all the hunter pets changes that we've got going on right now for Battle of Azeroth. There was a blue post, and it wasn't that long ago. I think came out right at the end of May, where someone was had some talking about marksmanship, and basically it sounds like they're not quite done with this particular spec. And this is what the devs had to say about that. They were talking about Lone Wolf's damage at 10% may not be the final number. And the guy was saying he changed it from 18% to 10% a while back. So it being at 18% and such a big DPS swing between pet and no pet would stop dominating the conversation about Lone Wolf. And he said tuning will happen. So in fact, you were talking about that earlier, Bendak, where you noticed on the beta, at least where it is now, it's about 50-50. I mean, between having a pet and not having a pet, although, you know, with the buffs and things that you get from the pet, that, you know, maybe playing marksman with a pet is worthwhile, but if they up the damage of Lone Wolf, that may no longer be the case.
Yeah, it's kind of balancing this is kind of weird because I think like you think they're going to balance Lone Wolf so that it does more damage than no pet, right? Or a pet. But then you also have to factor in losing those passives. So if I were someone who's only going to play marksmanship, I would kind of want the pet damage to be competitive because then you don't have to worry about giving up those passives, you know?
I mean, what do you play mostly, Foxy? Do you play Beast Mastery or Marksmanship? Or have you thought about what you're going to want to play in BFA?
Well, I've recently started playing BM just for the simple fact of gear reasons. When I was progressing, the gear just wasn't there for MM for me. So, but I really want to play Marksman and be BFA. I hope they tune it or fix it to where it's not too different to play, yet, you know, still offers some type of challenge because as we know, like BM is a pretty easy rotation. And I want to feel like I'm being challenged at some point in the game.
Right. And then would you prefer to play, though, with a pet or without a pet for marksmanship? Or do you not care?
I'm not sure if I think it's like 50-50 because I do love my pets. However, I did okay without it when I was, you know, MM. So it's kind of in the middle of that.
Yeah, I think when they're going to tune it, like they kind of have to tune it to do more damage, or else why would you ever take Lone Wolf? Like, why is it even
Right.
an option at that point? But then if it does more damage, then it automatically becomes the only choice. At least, you know, community perception and more damage over everything, right?
All right.
Yeah, I guess the only way they could, the only way this would actually work out as a tuned option would be if they made the pets do a particular percentage, a set percentage of your damage, and then made Lone Wolf obviously make that up. So like if your pets did 20% of your damage, in MM make it exactly 20% always, or something weird like that.
Yeah, but then you give up the pet passives
Mm-hmm.
if you go to go lone wolf. So what's the benefit of lone wolf, right?
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, I guess if there's any like fast or a lot of target switching fights or something like that, you could maybe argue.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I think
And but like Imperator says, I'm gonna play whichever spec does the most damage unless it's survival.
Unless it's survival.
And I mean, for AoE, obviously, a lone wolf's going to be better because your marksmanship pet can't AoE. So, but one idea I've seen kicked around is it'd be neat if, like, when you got lone wolf, like maybe you got like a small version of each of the 3 pet passives. Like maybe you got like 3% leech, 4% movement speed, and like 4% health or something. You know, just like a little bit of each one on top of the damage replacement.
Yeah, I think there has to be some sort of trade-off here for sure, right? Otherwise, you would just have to consider making Lone Wolf be like the signature, thing for the marksmanship spec, where they just wouldn't be able to use a pet at all. But then if you were to give them like all the abilities and things of a pet, right? Then it calls into question: is it you have all the benefits of the pet without all the downsides of having a pet, and is that make marksmanship too powerful? They don't have to worry about pet pathing and in anything, anything negative you can think about a pet, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Do you think they would go back to that oh, actually, I'm sorry. So wait. So Lone Wolf right now, if you have your pet out, it automatically unsets it, and then it's built into the class, right?
Yeah, it's not a talent. So if you don't have a pet summon, you just do 10% more damage.
I think I like that. So you have the choice to basically do it per fight without changing your talents.
Yeah, I like that. I don't like it being a talent either, because then it just like took over that whole talent row. But I think it's a weird thing to balance now with these new passives that pets give you. Like, so they give it Lone Wolf more damage, then I guess that's the end of it, right? Because who's not going to want to do more damage?
Yeah,
I guess it depends how much more damage, right? Like maybe you'll trade off a couple of percent damage for extra health. I don't know, for progression or something, right?
yeah. I guess I do like it being such an easy way to choose. You don't have to use a book. You don't have to. You just dismiss your pet if you. So wait. So if your pet dies, does Lone Wolf come into play automatically?
I haven't tested that, but another thing I want to mention is they definitely want to. They don't want you like summoning a pet, popping bloodlust, and dismissing it. Well, you could, but Lone Wolf takes I forget the timing, but it's something like a minute to ramp up to the full 10%, or maybe it's like 40 seconds or something.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it starts at 1%, then like every 5 seconds it adds another percent until it gets to 10.
Okay.
So that's their way to stop you from constantly swapping. Which I think works. I mean,
No, that's a great way to implement it.
Otherwise, you would start a fight, hit bloodlust, dismiss your pet, and then there you are.
Yeah, you can still do that. It's just there's a little penalty for doing that.
Well, and there are other changes they're looking at for marksmanship too. They said aim shots, charge recovery time will be reduced by haste in a future build.
So that's a good change, because right now haste is of questionable value for marksmanship. So that's a really nice change.
Rapid fire's visual effects are not final, and they said rapid fire will also be changed to bounce to one additional target when trick shots is active in a future build.
Yep. So right now, when the trick shot is active, rapid fire only bounces to one additional target. So this will make it bounce to 2 additional targets total, which makes sense because in order to trigger trick shots, you have to multi-shot 3 targets, and then it was only hitting 2 targets with your trick shot rapid fires, which was kind of weird. So now they just made it hit 3 targets, which makes more sense.
And then sniper training, which is I guess they get from the mastery ability, will be changed to affect all of your shots instead of only focus spending shots in a future build. So things like rapid fire are not left behind as gear progresses. So again, that sounds like that's a pretty good change too.
Yeah, except for the fact that marksmanship mastery is basically versatility now, or versatility plus extra shot range. Because before it increased damage of focus costing shots, right? Now it just increases all the shot damage, which is versatility.
Oh. Yeah. But wasn't there a design change in terms of secondary stats for BFA? Did they say that your primary stat is going to always be the highest weighted now, versus where we had these secondary stat tiers, where sometimes our primary stat actually was below the secondary stat tier?
Yeah, that's what they're aiming for. I think it'll probably start out that way, where agility will be the top stat.
Mm-hmm.
But as time goes on, just like in Legion, I wouldn't be surprised if secondaries started crawling up again, you know?
All right.
And it's also worth noting that there's some armor pieces that they don't even have secondary stats on them. They're just agility and stamina.
Well, as long as they don't make another Arcano Crystal and that we have to farm for a for a Titan Forge.
Ugh, I wish they'd get rid of stat sticks altogether.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I was watching the stream when Roger finally got his from the vendor, and he just lost it. It took him so long to get it. It was like worthless at that point because they'd done for Christian already, I think.
Yeah, I know that feel. Like I lost count of how many things I bought before I finally got mine, and then when I got it, it's just kind of like, oh,
Oh, gee, thanks.
I guess I can play the game now. Or
That's what kind of killed me with Marksman. Like, I'm like, come on, man.
The boots, your legendary
Yeah.
boots.
Oh my man, it's awful having to depend on one piece of gear to compete with the rest of your raid. Like, that sucks. I don't know who thought that would be a great idea, but whoever did that, you suck.
Yeah, on a random timer. I think that's the main thing. Because back in the day, we had that, but that was with like our weapon dropping from the last boss.
Yeah,
of the
but
raid or
that
something.
was like a real. Those are like real, okay, it's okay. You don't have the best weapon, but like it's so critical now to find a solid raid team with the size only being 20 people. So if you and another hunter are equally geared, but the other hunter has the 2 best legendaries, guess who's going? They have to make choices like that. I don't think it was as strenuous before, though.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Titan forging and the legendary system together, I think, was a little too much.
Yeah, separately, they're awesome, but
Mm-hmm. It's just way too much RNG. And it made like the mythic progression a little bit weird too, because I think just looking back, some of the raid guilds that had more legendaries or more legendaries to choose from tended to do better on the mythic progressions. So everyone was just farming legendaries on all of their alts. That just sounded like a miserable time.
yeah, I don't know what's going to be the new thing for BFA, if that'll be getting the right Azerite pieces or what, but that's probably a little easier to target anyway.
Sure, yeah, you get RNG in that it drops. You don't have the additional RNG in where it drops and whether or not it Titan forges. So yeah, no, I definitely agree that they probably know about the problem and hopefully they've addressed it.
Yeah, well, speaking of RNG too, that's something else they're looking at for marksmanship as well, and they noted that there's a lot of talents with randomness in them. So they said some things will probably change to be less random in general, and they said others will have some adjustments made to how they proc to prevent the really bad luck streaks from being a thing. But obviously, it's all very vague, so I'm not sure which talents they're looking at here. But I guess they're hoping to address RNG with some of the marksmanship talents in an upcoming build here. Which I don't know. It seems to me that marksmanship is, I feel like that one's gotten the most work this time around. I don't know how much it's truly changed, but it seems like that's sort of gotten the most focus and attention, more so than beast mastery, and then survival, I guess, has been looked at a little bit too. Certainly in the beginning it was.
Yeah, survival got quite a work over too. It's just it hasn't seen many changes like recently. I think they have it in a pretty solid place though. Beast mastery, the best way to sum it up is if you play the Dire Frenzy build in Legion, you'll transition pretty easily.
Yeah, I think
I know. I might even break down and attempt to try survival when BFA comes out. Like, I don't know. I'm just so it gives me freaking anxiety.
No, I get that mindset. Like we made hunters because we wanted to play a range class, and then they give us a melee class to play. So, or a melee spec. That's my mindset anyway. I'm sure I'll mess with it again at some point, but
Yeah, I may give it a look. At the very least, I should probably go and get the legendary before this expansion.
wait, you haven't gotten the legendary yet?
No, I haven't even got my survival legendary. No.
Okay.
Artifacts
I
weapon.
have them all for the simple fact that I couldn't get any more on my other specs, so they start sending you the other ones.
Oh, he's talking about he doesn't have the survival artifact weapon at all.
Yeah, I'm sorry, not the legendary. I mean the artifact weapon. Excuse me. Yes, the artifact weapon I don't have.
Yeah, you might want to
Okay,
get
that's
that.
a whole new level of lazy. Okay.
Yeah.
I take
exactly.
my sorry feeling back.
I go to the lodge like every day, and I see that bright, that dark orange exclamation point just sitting there.
Oh
and
yeah,
I
that
just
bothered
walk
me.
right by it every time. It doesn't even bother me.
Oh geez. Yeah, no, I couldn't help but get rid of that exclamation point.
If it helps, you can do the quest to get that weapon as BM.
Oh, you can? I didn't think about that. I figured they'd force you to do it as survival. But I mean, I think I have.
Plus, you got to get it so you can get the class mounts, the other colors.
Yeah, I've got so I've got the marksmanship one and of course the beast mastery one, but I don't. Yeah, so that's the other reason to do it too, is to get the survival mount. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit. As you say, you just do a couple world quests and boom, your artifact weapon is filled out practically. At least all the important stuff.
Yeah, and you probably.
I mean, if you haven't played it up to this point, I would honestly just wait until the pre-patch, because it's completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have to play it. Just get the weapon. Maybe put one artifact thing into it so that it gets up to 54. Because I think
put some relics in it too, because
yeah, I'd have to put some relics in it.
Yeah, I think Veiled Argonites are you're probably like
But it's really awkward. I won't put any AT in my survival weapon, but I have several relics in my bag for it. They're like 950 plus that I'm just waiting. I was like, well, maybe I'll need them. I'm not gonna ever use it.
yeah, my survival weapon is almost as high as my BM weapon in eye level.
Wow.
But yeah, so because when the pre-patch comes out, like your traits aren't going to matter because they'll be gone, but the eye level of the weapon will matter because that'll be your weapon.
Yeah, I wonder how quickly that'll be replaced. I mean,
Oh, it'll be replaced pretty quickly in BFA, but for the pre-patch, you'll need the weapon.
right, for the pre-patch, yeah, you'll want that for that kind of stuff. But I just imagine as you're leveling and get to, is it 120? Nice.
Yeah, it just seems so. The leveling right now is so. It seems like vestigial. Like it's just
It's
we're
awful,
just going
dude.
through the motions for. There's nothing to. There's no reward or there's no like awesome new ability you're gonna unlock or some new feature for your class or it's just okay. I'll just spend 15 hours or whatever leveling up so I can start doing the content.
Yeah, I mean that's right. It's just an excuse to sort of get through some of the story, go through some of the just quest, and then like you said, you've got your whole gear reset after that. And you start doing your dungeons and getting ready for doing the raids, and you'll be. Yeah, it's always weird. I mean, I understood it initially in the earlier expansions, but now it just feels like it's doing a lot of work to get back to where you are right now.
Well, in the earlier expansions, it was like you couldn't wait. It's like, all right, when I hit level capping, I'm gonna get Stampede. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right? I mean, as you said, we got new abilities and things to look forward to, just like we were leveling from the get-go, but that's just not the case anymore.
Even Warlords of Trainer had those perks you unlocked every 2 levels. I'm honestly really surprised they didn't add a level 120 talent row.
Yeah, actually, that was a thought that crossed my mind too. Yeah, it seems kind of odd. One more talent to balance isn't really that. I mean, I guess shouldn't understate the complexity of adding a talent row for every single spec, but still.
No, I don't know. I mean, even if it was just really cool utility, like what if they took like our best utility legendaries and made them a row of talents? Like they don't have to be DPS talents. Just something new to look forward to,
Yeah, or even like just put the artifact ability in, the one that we gave up.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be a button to push. I mean, it could be something passive too.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, just over an hour here, and amazingly enough, I think we started on time. So, unless we get in, and we kind of covered all the news we had for today. We just need to track down Delirium for next time and figure out when we want to do another show. And
yeah, I guess we'll probably get another one in before the pre-patch.
Hopefully.
yeah, I think that would be good, and maybe we can just kind of do a sort of a broad look at some of the key changes that are happening for the pre-patch, and kind of do one of those types of shows where we say, what kind of talent you might want to just sort of take a look at least marksmanship and beast mastery, maybe do a half-hearted attempt at survival. Which that we acknowledge its existence.
Yeah, just
sorry,
like PvP.
it's not even getting half my heart. Not even half.
But at the very least, the PTR should be out by then, and we'll know what the launch event is. Well,
yeah, true. All right. Well, on that note, you have been listening to episode 271 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I'm Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast and Bendak WoW on Twitter.
I'm Foxy from Warcraft Hunters Union and at Miss Mo Logan on Twitter.
All right. Check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or add our RSS feed to your reader, and we'll have these links available in the show notes. And if you have a question or topic you'd like us to discuss on the show, email us at huntingpartypodcast@gmail.com, or you can just send us a tweet to @huntingpartypod. Stay thirsty, my friends, and remember to drink your dark brew lager.
Keep your eyes on the beast.
BlizzCon is coming.
So's BFA.
Life stealer, that's just the cost of being awesome sauce. A dues payer, a boss slayer, I rock out with my lockout now. 'cause I can jump shot. BM, MM, and SV, I can rock out any tree. Never worried about my threat, 'cause I've got FD and misdirect. Catching loose mobs in my traps. I never miss, 'cause I am hit capped. 'Cause I'm the hunter, not the marked. I'm the fighter, not the spark. I'm the kiter, not the kite. I'll top meters every fight. Rated NK, dealing death. Just me, my gun, and my trusty bed. Now let's begin with Illidan, Osirian, and Gil'jadan, Magdamar, Asgalor, Gruul, Cthulhu, and Razorgore, Onyxia to Ragnaros. Which one have we killed the most? Kel'Thuzad to Malagos. We even killed a Kama's ghost. Feels like we're getting close, all that running has a ghost. Anubarak, Yogg-Saron, Therian, Sartharian, Magtheridon, Sapuron, Lucifer to Sulfuron, Archivon, Amon,